to take out probes. More should be on the way. Full chrono boost, probably on both Nexus. No, he's using one. That's always good. When I play Protoss, I find it very hard to keep up with that. But I find it fairly easily to keep up with mule production, because as soon as you hear the sound for it dying, you can just click it again. You don't have to worry too much. Still, forces building up. It looks like if we switch to the Army tab, Bane definitely has the advantage, as the mineral advantage as well. 4 factories. Looks like he's going to be just pumping out unit after unit, siege tank after siege tank, and even Hellions. He might be planning a drop back here, which will be very, very effective, especially if he has the Infernal Pre-Igniter, which he might as well get. He does have it, so, or it's on the way, one of the two. But 4 factories off of 2 base is kind of excessive. Even still, he's having trouble spending all his money, so we shall see. Another command center going up. He's probably going to see that there's no units here, and probably just go ahead and take that one as well. No aggression from either player, laying the groundwork for very much a lot. Look at that Colossus being secreted away in the War Prism. Unfortunately, they are very squishy, and if a Viking gets a hold of that, that could spell very much trouble for Caboose, as this is a very big investment for potentially a very small game. This Viking, of course, is going to be able to snipe both the War Prism as well as the Colossus. Now, this War Prism at the periphery of that sensor tower, and if it decides to go in, we do see the Stalker move in, so this is what I'm talking about. You can see it as a red dot. You can't tell exactly what it is, but the Stalker is going to come up and meet a timely end to this line of siege tanks, as he uses a distraction to get the Warp Prism in. Unfortunately, it's gonna... Oh, it barely gets the Colossus out. Unfortunately, this Viking is saying, ooh, me, me, me. Hellions moving in, not going to be doing a lot of damage, but tanks moving back. A fair amount of tanks. This is all tank. Oh my goodness. Tank, Hellion, and a couple Vikings with the Marines he built in the beginning. Looks like we had a similar drop over here that also fell, or maybe it was something dying. Looks like something got salvaged or something, but more gateways now for Caboose. Looks like he's going to be committing fully to a Stalker Colossus army. They move surprisingly fast and kind of a missed blink as he tries to go for the gold. This command center is just morphing straight away into an orbital so it can save up energy on the way. It looks like Bane is going to be moving out to take his gold as well. This is a scary amount of siege tanks. It's even 1-1 because he does have an armory. He's supply blocked, which with 3 orbital commands I'm sure you can wrangle up some supply drop. After destroying the rocks, he does have a Stalker, not even attack moving to the gold. Unfortunately, will die, blinking the wrong way back to meet up with the forces. Blinks forward to take out the Marines, and this forces Bane into action. He's going to be taking this high ground with the Stalker there to guard it. Unfortunately, without the tanks up there able to hit it, basically it's 3-shotted. Tanks do 28 to armor units, and with a tank on the high ground, with 2 tanks on the high ground, you can't enter this, because even though a tank's sight range is lower than its actual range, once you get that watchtower, it's full. As you can see all the way out past its range, so as soon as it goes in, we should see a blink here. He goes up with the observer. Unfortunately, there's tanks all the way on the low ground, and he's moving away to siege up, but unfortunately, if Caboose blinks in, it'll catch a lot of these out of position, but unfortunately for Caboose, they do a ton of damage, even on siege. They fire extraordinarily fast, and with a 1-1 upgrade, they do a little bit more. And we do see that the ground and armor level 2 has not been started because Caboose seems content to have a 92 food army. All these Hellions did survive most of the barrage. Tanks are beat up, but a tank with 1 hit point can still absolutely demolish an army if you're not careful. It looks like we have more robo facilities out for Caboose, training Immortals and another Colossus. And we have a bunch of Colossi out, which will get absolutely killed by these Vikings, as well as when they're in range of the siege tanks. Now we do have a ton of mules. If we can select them all, we do have 7 mules on the field for Bane. Actually, I could just swoop to that. And we do say it is indeed 7. A ton of Hellions, maybe to deal with chargelets. That is the glaring weakness, of course, of the mech build. Typically you see a couple Thors, and again, we don't see any sort of air coming out from Caboose. Instead, he's relying solely on Stalker and Colossus. Unfortunately, that's not going to be too good. To his credit, he blinks out after he sees that Bane has continued to keep control of the Watchtower with tanks. Missile turrets going up, going to spell the end of the Dark Shrine, which is going up, it looks like, at his natural. There it is. And more tanks just flowing out. I'm not sure. I mean, tanks are expensive, but he's able to afford a ton of them. Of course, they do cost 125 gas, which is a lot. Now, this tank can't actually hit the Stalkers until they blink into range, which he should... Looks like he's moving out of the range. Still controlling this top Watchtower with his Zealot, but all these tanks are spread out wonderfully. Even if charge lots get in, they're able to protect themselves. So very good placement for Bane on these tanks. These Colossus, the Immortal comes in to tank the damage. Unfortunately, it's still going to get wasted by the absolute ridiculous amount of tanks that he has. The Hellions moving in will die very quickly to Colossus. This Viking being unmolested is able to do a lot of damage to Colossus when they go down. Even Hellion's going to take down Colossus. Who knew? Now they're moving out. Looks like a misclick by Bane. The siege tank does go down. And this Viking finally, after dealing so much damage, will also die. The Immortals trying to take the damage. Unfortunately, the Stalker's taking most of the brunt of the force. These Immortals are able to absolutely destroy tanks once they get to it. But right now I think that Caboose is forgetting to macro, as he has a ton of money and only an army of 59. Actually, he does have, how many Harvesters? He has 43 Harvesters, so he's got 12 units on the map, where Bane has an absolute... Wow. I was actually watching Strassus. I apologize for that. Looks like an expansion going down to the gold for Caboose, but he's got to clear out all these missile turrets first. So we don't see any DTs. I think that the amount of missile turrets out on the field for Bane looks like he's played some StarCraft and Brood War, as this was a popular trend among Terran players then, to continually move out with turrets. But another sensor tower going up, so you actually can see the building. He's going to let that burn down. Smart play. Excuse me. But the Stalker's getting utterly annihilated. Excuse me again. And, oh no, DT's coming way too late. As soon as one hits anything, and the turret is everywhere, a scan will go down, and that's going to be it. So Terran doing what he does best, just turtling up, forcing the other player to play aggressively. And I'm actually wondering if Bane can actually see these DTs. No, he can't with the sensor towers.
Depleted.
But I think Caboose was expecting expansion up here. The Hellions cleared out the Nexus down there. And this is just full-on Terran contain. Man, I've been doing this for a long time today, so pardon me. Alright. A lot of Zealots without charge for Caboose. These DTs are still wandering around the map. And he just calls GG. He's pretty much mined out. He's got a ton of minerals, even getting a Stargate way too late. And that's pretty much it for Caboose in this game. Bane crawling away as the victor, playing a very strong, very annoying Terran contain with tanks. Like I said, Void Rays would have absolutely just destroyed him, as would carriers, as he only had one reactor starport, I believe, and it was swapped to a tech lab for the Raven. And that's just lazy on Bane's part, putting it so that only one building can be on either one of them. But he was mined out of his natural doing great work on his third, probably ready to take a fourth. I'm surprised we don't see Command Center, but that'll do it for Game 1 of Group C. Let's look forward to Game 2, which will be Bane against Viking.